This is a real quick introduction to the Fusion 360 user interface for the fall of 2019. This is sort of like the Google Drive of CAD software, one of the versions of that. So they update it constantly, which is good and bad. It's good because new updates and greater, better things is awesome. It's bad because sometimes you as the user, if you're not using it all the time, things can move around a little bit. For your students, if you're teaching with this, things can be changed from one week to the next if they update over the weekend or something. So it generally should remain the same. So this is the basic user interface. We have a graphics window right here. This is where your objects will be drawn. Up at the top we have, or actually on the left side, we have this thing called a browser. This is going to be a running list of all the things that you do. So right now there's nothing in it because I haven't drawn anything yet. If I click any of these arrows, it allows me to expand and then minimize kind of what's happening. If I click these arrows, it shuts the whole thing down. So if you click that on accident, you go, oh, where'd that go? I need that. That's where it is. Okay. This, no, we don't want that. At the very, very top is your data panel, which is the location of all of your things that you've saved before, including people that you've worked on, invited to projects with, or invited to work on projects with you. Close that down. Your next is your file menu, which is the same as most Windows softwares with the file menu. New, save, upload, export. Here's a save icon. This is your undo and redo buttons. So very similar to a Microsoft Word type situation. This is your ribbon. At the top of your graphics window, at the top of your screen, your ribbon has all of the tools that you can use to draw with. First, let's talk about this right here, this change workspace. For 99.9% of what you're going to do, you're going to be in design. Okay? Render, animation, simulation, manufacture, those are not something I would mess with. I don't mess with those even in high school. Manufacture I do, but that's about it. Everything in Fusion 360 starts with a sketch. So I'm going to click this button right here that says Create Sketch. By the way, if you hover your mouse, it gives you a nice pictorial and a brief description of what this does. So I've clicked Create Sketch, and now you can see that I've got three planes showing up. I've got my XY plane, my YX plane, and my XZ plane. I'm just going to pick this one here because it corresponds with my view cube to the front view, which is typically what people draw first because it's the biggest and most detailed. You'll notice my ribbon changed and this thing popped up. My ribbon is not, it changed, but it's okay. All my drafting tools are up here. So if I wanted to create just a series of lines, click and move your mouse. Once you have a complete loop, it's that tan color. That's good. That's what you want. If you want to draw a specific shape, say a rectangle, for example, you can choose your rectangle tool or your circle tool or any of these in here. So if you wanted to draw a part of a circle, or if you wanted to draw a polygon, let's say I hit the tab key. Let's say I wanted an octagon. I could very easily, I don't have to think about the angles. I don't have to think about the length of the sides. Fusion does all of that for you. So that's basically sketching. I don't know how much dimensioning you get into in Launch, but here's your dimensioning tool. So if you wanted to make this rectangle a specific size, you can do that. When I'm done sketching, I can click Finish Sketch. And you'll notice if I click this house, which is next to my view cube, that brings everything back to that three-dimensional view. Now I can do things with these. I can extrude them. I'm just going to extrude this and that. I can extrude them in either direction. I can specify how big they're going to be here. And now I've made a cylinder and an octagonal prism. If I wanted to do something else, I just turn that back on so these are visible. Anytime if something's not visible, you might have a light bulb. I have an eyeball in mine, so I can turn things on and off. I can also do this right here. It's called a revolve. It's a little bit more advanced, but first it's going to ask for your profile. So I'm going to click that. And then I'm going to select my axis. I'm going to choose that. And as you see, what it does, it takes that profile that I sketched and it rotates it around that axis. So I can specify how far of an angle I want to go. If I would like to. To rotate this around and view it from a little bit different angles, you can click and hold on the view cube and it allows you to rotate this around. If for some reason you get this thing all kinds of funky and or your middle mouse wheel zooms out too far and you can't find your work anymore, kids like to do this. Move your mouse to the view cube area, click on the house. Brings everything back to where it was. We're at 7 minutes, 7 minutes 40, so I'll stop here and send it to you and see what you think.